Morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. I've been talking about Social Security and how to maximize benefits, minimize taxes, how it fits into your overall plan. But I want to take a little aside, if you will. One of the things here I've come across, by the way, Tony Robbins got a new book out. It's called Unshakable, Your Financial. You might recall I've talked about his book, which had Money Master the Game, I think it was, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom. Your Financial Freedom Playbook is what this one is. One of the things that he talks about is about the value of having the right advisor. One of the things we do in my practice, of course, and in my office is we're helping people understand the value of comprehensive planning. All right, as they say, failing to plan is planning to fail. All right, but there's more. There's added values that you pick up. One of the reasons I do the type of planning I do, there was a time I was in the broker-dealer system and I was just, out selling mutual funds the same as others in the broker-dealer system at the time, and continue to be that case today, all right? But I decided to make a change about 12 years ago. And so for, I don't know, what it was, close to 15 years, that was the model I followed. That's what I was trained in. That's when I got my license, the training that I received. And that's what I thought was the best. And it wasn't until over time that I learned the weaknesses in that system and come to embrace setting up as an independent registered investment advisor as a fiduciary, putting my clients' interests of all others, including myself, and always looking for the better mousetrap, if you will, for the best things out there that are going to allow me to provide the best for my clients. So one of the things about the value, and this I thought was really telling, breaking it down into numbers, always love numbers, right? Skeptical about the value of the right advisor. Well, this was kind of interesting. So what Tony talks about is while the wrong advisors can be detrimental, of course, to your financial health, the right ones can be worth their value in gold. And this comes from a recent Vanguard study which explored exactly how much monetary value an advisor can bring to your investments. Now he set this up, if you will, when he talked about before, even Tony Robbins, this is a very wealthy man, right? And he's talking about, and he's very competent in so many areas, but he says when it comes to this, he doesn't do it yourself. He also has advisors. So let's talk about it. Lowering expense ratios. This is one of those areas when it comes to your portfolio. Reducing costs in your portfolio, the value back to you, 45 basis points. That's almost 0.5% a year back in your pocket. Rebalancing your portfolio. A lot of people don't understand the value of that. If you do not rebalance, and if you don't have the right asset allocation in the first place, you add a tremendous amount of volatility and you reduce your return. Rebalancing alone, when you do have the right asset allocation, when you do have, you're using the academic research that's out there and you've got an evidence-based portfolio set up for yourself, if you've got that, it's still important to rebalance, of course, to keep it that way, and that will add about 35 basis points or about 1/3% of increased performance per year. Asset allocation, just determining what is the right mix. There's a science to investing. I've done many shows about it. I've talked about it extensively. One of the things, anytime you go through anybody that comes in, we do an investment analysis and we explain about asset allocation, how it works, and then we compare a properly constructed portfolio with what they're currently doing so they can see the value of that. Well, Vanguard was actually able to show that in terms of value. Asset allocation, 75 basis points, just having that done correctly, of increased performance. That's 0.75% a year. Withdrawing the right investments in retirement, understanding having an income plan. This is where comprehensive planning comes in again. It's not just preparing for retirement, but then once you're in retirement, it's what you do. All right, how to minimize your taxes. How, when it comes to taking income from your portfolios, all right, whether it's from you're determining whether to take it from a taxable account, from a tax-deferred account, from a tax-free account, or maybe how to balance all those out to keep you in a lower tax bracket while still giving you income as if you were in a higher bracket. This is all a part of planning, and this goes into, again, withdrawing the right investments in retirement will add 70 basis points or save you 70 basis points in terms of costs. The other is the behavioral coaching, all right, for serving as your practical psychologist, as he puts it. But when it comes to finances, it's making sure we set up a plan, we stick to the plan. I'm your coach, I'm there to help you and make sure we stay with the plan and that we keep the plan intact. And as life happens, which it does, and they're going to bring changes into your life, it's how to tweak the plan to accommodate those changes and make sure we still accomplish the goals. And what are the main goals? Attain and maintain your standard of living and quality of life no matter how long you live. So whatever you're doing today that you enjoy, this is your lifestyle, you're saying, this is what I want. Or maybe you're saying, you know what, I want more, I want to do some other things, especially when you retire, right? Well, we want to do a plan that makes sure you can do that. So the grand total is 3.75% of added value per year, 3 times what a sophisticated advisor would charge. So this is one of the things that you might want to take advantage of, and I'm going to make it even easier for the first 10 callers to my office this morning. If you would like to get that kind of value for yourself, just be one of the first 10 callers, 615-376-5325. Tess is standing by. She'll get your information. She'll send you out a little checklist of things to bring with you to your appointment with me, and we'll do up a full plan for you. You'll get all the values I was just explaining to you and more, and it includes a Social Security piece that we're talking about, of course. When we do comprehensive planning, we get into everything, okay? This is about making sure that we've got a full plan, that there's not going to be anything left out, both with regard to how to maximize benefits, how to minimize risk, and make sure, that, again, that you're able to maintain your standard of living, quality of life. In addition, when you come in, I'll give you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. Okay, now, we're going to jump back into the Social Security part. What if you apply for early benefits? This is one of those things, again, when do I take? Some people are so worried that they're going to, this is why I wanted to get into that about this, you know, how solvent the Social Security system is and the types of reforms that are, in fact, will be made. They're going to keep it around, so that you don't worry so much that you maybe, oh, maybe they're going to run out of money, or I'm not going to get as much, therefore I'm going to take early, which could be detrimental to you. Now, for some, it may be beneficial. One of the things we do with the analysis on the retirement income analysis is we calculate that for you. I can tell you when the break-even is, and then we can have a more in-depth conversation about the best time to take. So one of the things, if you apply at 62, all right, at full retirement age being 66, you're only going to receive 75% of what you would get at 65. So we used $2,000 earlier a month. That means you'd only get $1,500 a month if you start at 62 versus $2,000 at 66. And at 63, it'd be about 80% of that. Okay, so now you'd get $1,600 and so on up to at age 66, that full $2,000. As you can see, if your full retirement age is 67, that takes a year longer to get there. Now, what if you apply after your full retirement age? Let's take a look at that next. All right, you will earn an 8% annual delayed credit. Now, this is one of those, again, depending on your situation. 66, you're going to get that $2,000 that we were using in our example, or whatever your full retirement age benefit would be. Okay, well, if you wait, all right, until age 67, wait 1 year, and you get 8%, it's actually incrementally per month, or about 75 basis points, or a little less than that, 65 basis points probably, per month added on. So after 1 year, it'd be 108% of that, 116% at 68, all the way up to 132% at age 70. So again, if we're talking that $2,000 number, okay, we would have more like $2,640 by waiting. A pretty big increase in terms of the amount you would receive. Now, how to estimate your Social Security benefits is the next piece. This is real easy. In fact, when we send out the checklist of things to bring, we even put instructions on how you can go online and obtain your annual Social Security statement. This is when they used to send them out all the time. Now, you know, they're trying to get into a paperless. It's less expensive. It saves money. And who doesn't want to do that? And guess what? It's good for the environment. Less trees we need to use. So you go to socialsecurity.gov, click on Estimate Your Retirement Benefits, and they'll basically, you just answer the questions, and you can then be able to access your Social Security statement online. And in addition to being able to access it online, you'll be able to do it now 24/7. You can go on any time and take a look at it. And you'll want to look at some of the things there, and we'll get into that. All right, spousal benefits. This is one of the areas, again, that people ask about all the time. A spousal benefit equals 1/2 the primary worker's full retirement age benefit. All right, so if you start at full retirement age, okay, then for instance, if John's spouse is $2,000, then Jane's would be $800. If Jane applies at her full retirement age, though, she'll get $1,000 or half of whatever John's full retirement age benefit would be. Now, this is something to understand as well. When we talked about reduction of benefits, so rules for spousal benefits, the primary worker must have filed for their benefits. The spouse must be at least 62 for the reduced benefit or 66 for the full benefit. And this is key too. We talked about at age 70 you could delay, right, from 66 to 70 and get a 8% increase per year in what you would receive. That does not apply though on the spousal benefit. So the maximum, and this is one of the things, I have clients sometimes come in there thinking, well, we'll just both wait until we're 70. If the spouse is going to get more at 50% of the higher earning spouse, let's say at age 66, there's no benefit to wait. In other words, you're not going to get more by waiting, so go ahead and take the benefit at 66, even though the other spouse may in fact wait until 70. There are also divorce spouse benefits, and this is same as the spouse benefits as long as you were married for at least 10 years or more. Person that receives divorce spouse benefit is currently unmarried as well. So you were married for at least 10 years, you're currently unmarried, and the ex-spouse is at least 62 years age, then the divorced spouse can get income off of the earnings of their prior spouse, if you will, the ex. All right, rules for divorced spouse benefits. More than one ex-spouse. If so, there's multiple marriages, guess what? You can have one earner, and if he's married 3 or 4 or 5 times, they would all be receiving benefits. Maybe that's one of the problems with the system. I don't know. But if you're one of those receiving, that may be reassuring. Benefits paid to one ex-spouse do not affect those paid to the worker or current spouse or other ex-spouses. So when they calculate that benefit out, that's where these multiples come in. It doesn't affect anyone else's benefits. They're still going to get what they would have gotten anyway. Divorce spouse benefits stop upon remarriage of the spouse collecting the benefits. All right. So if you're divorced from someone and you're collecting benefits from that person's earning record, and you divorce and you remarry, you lose that. Now you may collect under the new spouse, so that could work out. All right, survivor benefits. This is one again. Now, without getting too much into this, the age at which the deceased spouse originally claimed his benefit, that's one, or the age, so the survivor benefits can be, again, complicated. That's why I'm not going to jump in too much here. But it's important to understand how they work, because decisions, again, if that happens to you, this is where it comes in. Now, when clients come in and we're dealing with survivor benefits, there are a lot of things that get into how much you're going to receive, how that's going to work, how it's calculated, and then there are also, depending on your age, if you have dependent children, there are a lot of different factors there. So if the spouse dies, survivor benefits, if spouse dies while both are receiving benefits, then the widower may switch to the higher benefit. All right, now this is where that ability to take off of your own earnings could come in as well. So if a spouse dies while both are receiving benefits, the widower may switch to the higher. And this is one of the things we more commonly see where a couple is both receiving Social Security benefits, one passes, whatever the higher benefit is, that's what the surviving spouse is going to get. So one check's going to go away. Now this, by the way, so we can get rid of that slide for a moment. This is, by the way, one of the things you want to keep in mind when it comes to planning, right? So when we're looking at what's going to happen, when we're talking about planning, we look at first, if you both live for a very long time together and we don't have to worry, that's great. But if one were to die a little early, and the other, is there going to be enough resources left, because one of those incomes is going away, and depending if there's a pension, what impact is that going to have? Might a pension be gone or be greatly reduced? Are there enough savings to make up the difference? Maybe you need insurance, in fact, just to cover a certain gap of time. All of that is part of this comprehensive planning as well. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to give you an opportunity to take advantage of getting a plan for yourself, all right? But first, we're going to take a quick break. Join me here. We'll be right back on a Retirement Report.